My heart seized when I saw Hermie's 5-year-old daughter, Emma, half buried in the garden, dirt clogging her mouth, her small fingers clawing at the soil, her eyes wide with terror. Her wheelchair lay toppled, wheels sinking into the mulch, while above her stood Helen Carver, our HOA president, calmly shoveling earth onto my child. Emma's choked sobs pierced the air, her voice a desperate plea. "Daddy." That sound broke me. I didn't think. I acted. But before I tell you what happened next, drop a comment with where you're reading from. This isn't just a story of a fight, it's about a little girl nearly killed for planting roses and a father who dragged her attacker through the dirt she weaponized. Some monsters don't scream. They carry clipboards and wear pressed blouses. Let me take you to Cedar Ridge, North Carolina, in the spring of 2023, where evil hid behind a smile, and I learned what it means to protect what's mine. Cedar Ridge was all smooth sidewalks and clipped lawns, a suburban haven with parks built for kids like Emma. My wife, Sarah, and I moved here after years of hospital visits, chasing a place where our daughter, who had spinal muscular atrophy, could thrive. Emma couldn't walk, but her spirit was a wildfire. Her giggle could light up the darkest day, and she named every flower in our garden her sanctuary. I still see her that first day, sunlight glinting off her wheelchair as she pointed to a patch of earth and said, "Daddy, roses go there." We hadn't unpacked when Helen appeared, brunette, heels clicking, clipboard in hand like a badge of power. "Welcome to Cedar Ridge," she said, her voice honeyed but cold. "I'm Helen Carver, HOA president. You're moving vans on the grass, Section 8, Rule 3 violation." I held Emma close. "We'll move it," I said, just wanting her inside. Helen's eyes flicked at Emma, her lips tightening. "What's wrong with her?" Sarah stepped in, calm but firm. "Emma has SMA. She's bright, kind, and loves it here." Helen's pen tapped her clipboard. "Property changes ramps. Gardens need board approval." Her tone wasn't curious. It was a warning. That's when I knew Cedar Ridge wasn't safe. Beneath its tidy hedges, we'd stepped into a trap. I thought Helen was just rigid, a bureaucrat with a rulebook. But within days, I saw she wielded those rules like a blade, and we were her target. A sealed envelope arrived, violation unapproved, front ramp. It was a portable ramp so Emma could roll into our home, her smile wide when I set it up. To Helen, it disrupted the neighborhood's craftsman aesthetic. Then came another, unauthorized landscaping. I'd widened a garden path for Emma's wheelchair. Helen marched to our porch, clipboard raised. "Mr. Bennett, this path breaks visual uniformity." I stared her down. "It keeps my daughter from getting stuck." Her smile was ice. "Personal needs don't trump community standards." Sarah pulled me back. By month 2, we had 9 violations. Our mailbox was too sleek. Emma's swing was unpermitted. Her rose-shaped wind chimes were noise pollution. Helen was watching, every adjustment for Emma fuel for her vendetta. My work years in counterintelligence, tracking threats kept me calm. I logged every notice, filed complaints, stayed silent. But Sarah saw the storm brewing. "She's going to break you," she whispered one night, her hand on mine. "She's targeting Emma." Outside, Helen measured our fence with a laser tool, her shadow sharp in the dusk. I didn't sleep. I'd faced chaotic killers, but Helen was precise, her cruelty calculated. Her walks past our house slowed, her gaze lingering. I caught her with binoculars, staring from across the street. Once, I found her by our garden, phone aimed at Emma watering her roses. Admiring her quaint plants, she said when I confronted her. "Get off my property," I snapped. She stepped just beyond our grass, smirking. "I'm not on it. Yet." Security footage showed her circling our house 5 times that week, sometimes with an HOA ally, pointing at Emma's garden with sly nods. I told Sarah, "She's planning something." We added hidden cameras, motion sensors, a GPS tracker in Emma's wheelchair. But I underestimated her. One morning, our mailbox was drilled apart, screws scattered. Inside, a typed note: "Your daughter's roses violate code. She doesn't belong. This isn't a hospital." The font Times New Roman matched Helen's notices. At an HOA meeting, she spoke to bored neighbors. "Some think their sob stories justify breaking our rules. We'll restore order, remove invasive elements." Her eyes met mine. She wasn't just after our garden, she was after Emma. It was 4 minutes. A secure call from work. I left the window open, watching Emma in her garden, watering her roses, humming softly. The gate was locked, her chair steady, the morning bright. For minutes. When I returned, silence hit like a blade, not peaceful, but wrong. My heart lurched. I ran to the window. Emma's wheelchair was overturned, wheels buried in mulch, her watering can crushed. I sprinted outside, leaping the porch steps, boots skidding in the dirt. The garden was torn open, soil clod. A scrap of blue Emma's dress peeked from the earth. I dropped to my knees, digging frantically, nails splitting, blood mixing with soil. Emma. Her face emerged, dirt-caked, eyes wide, lips trembling. She wasn't breathing. I pulled her free, cleared her throat with my fingers. Breathe, baby. A cough, a sob. She collapsed against me, shaking. Daddy, she gasped. The rose lady, she got mad. She said my roses were wrong, Emma whispered. I said you said they were okay. She pushed my chair through dirt. The garden screamed her crime, uprooted roses, a buried trowel, drag marks where Emma fought to breathe. Then I heard heels on concrete. Helen stood by the fence, gloves dusted with soil, her face calm. I warned you, she said. Those roses violated Section 11 unapproved flora. I stood, Emma in my arms. You buried my daughter. She shrugged. She was unattended. I hazarded. I fixed it. My voice was a growl. She's a child. You tried to kill her. Helen rolled her eyes. Don't be dramatic. Call the police if you want. Your project doesn't belong here. She laughed, sharp and cruel. Maybe now you'll stop pretending she's special. I lunged, slamming her against the gate. She gasped, swinging, but I caught her wrist, twisting until she screamed. You think I won't? I hissed. She kicked. I threw her down, her face hitting the mulch. I grabbed her trowel, raising it. Her eyes widened, fear breaking through. You wanted my daughter buried? I roared. Try it yourself. I drove the trowel into the dirt beside her face, soil spraying her mouth. She gagged, crawling back. I stalked her, dragging the trowel. I should end you, I spat. She whimpered, blood on her lip. I didn't mean don't lie. I yanked her collar, shoving her face into the dirt. Emma's voice cut through. Daddy. Her hand reached for me, eyes trusting. I dropped Helen, who collapsed, sobbing. I lifted Emma. Helen screamed. I'll ruin you. I turned. You buried a child. You're done. Neighbors gathered, phones up, whispers spreading. Helen sat in the ruined garden, blouse filthy, composure gone. I stepped forward, trowel in hand. Want to file a violation? I growled. Maybe we'll bury it with Emma. She tried to stand. I kicked her legs out. Gasps echoed. This is assault, she croaked. I crouched. No, Helen. This is justice. I slammed her face into the dirt once, twice. She shrieked. You didn't stop when Emma begged, I snapped. I faced the crowd. This is what happens when you let evil hide behind rules. Helen sobbed. Help me. No one moved. A kid muttered. She buried a girl. I lifted Emma. This is your HOA president. She tried to kill my daughter over roses. Sirens wailed. Cruisers screeched up, an unmarked car behind. Helen sat up, forcing poise. Officers, he attacked me. A plainclothes woman approached. David Bennett. I nodded. He called it in, she told the officers. He's the victim's father. Helen's face twisted. Victim? He assaulted me. The woman's badge flashed. We have footage of you burying a disabled child. The crowd gasped. You're under arrest for attempted murder, assault, and civil rights violations. Helen thrashed as officers cuffed her. I was enforcing rules. I flashed my badge. FBI. I've hunted killers, but the worst monster lived next door. Helen wept. As they loaded her, she hissed, my standards. I turned. My daughter's life. Helen screamed about bylaws until she reached the station, then unraveled, clawing her hands, muttering about dirt in her veins. She was moved to a psychiatric facility, trying to bite her fingers, believing they were soil. Forensics found files on every neighbor, notes like wheelchair eyesore, child's laughter disruptive. Ours had 5 red stickers. Threat. Her trowel was polished, stored like a weapon. Psychiatric notes called her narcissistic, obsessed with control, seeing Emma as a flaw. She whispered in observation. She ruined the roses. I buried her like weeds. Emma asked later, in the hospital, where's the rose lady? I took her hand. Somewhere she can't hurt anyone. She nodded. Do they have flowers? I blinked. Maybe. She smiled. Good. She needs to learn to love them. Emma spent days in the hospital, silent, flinching at Dirt. On day 4, she asked, "Are my roses okay?" We promised they were waiting. Neighbors brought gifts, apologized. Helen had terrorized them too. A community garden was bill accessible, open, with a plaque, Emma's Haven, for those who bloom against odds. Emma, now 7, wheeled through it, teaching kids about roses. She hummed, unafraid of dirt. Helen's trial was a spectacle: attempted murder by an HOA tyrant. Footage showed her burying Emma. The judge said, "You buried a child and your humanity." She got 25 years. She glared at me. This community deserved better. I replied, "It got it." The HOA collapsed. Helen had embezzled funds. Cedar Ridge changed, fences lowered. Laughter returned. A reporter asked if I was a hero. "No," I said. "I'm a father." Emma calls me her hero for listening. Justice is Emma laughing in the sun, a monster buried by her own choices. Evil hides in rules, but we fought back, turning graves into gardens. Would you have fought like I did, or held back? Have you faced cruelty masked as order? Did you stay silent, or fight? Drop, yes, if you'd have dragged her through the dirt. No, if you'd chosen another path. Share your story. What did you do when evil wore a smile? Hit like if this hit hard, and subscribe for more stories that wake you up. Let's keep growing.